Good day, we have one another great guest tonight. It's Steve Aimable, a Cage Warriors fighter, an amazing striker. I think at least an amazing striker
Oh,
according to the style I was looking, it looks like amazing to me. So, can you please introduce yourself and tell us how did you get into the world of mixed martial arts?
but like you said, I'm Steve Aimable. I'm 32. Been doing MMA for I think it's 10 years now, and just got into it because a new gym opened that started doing MMA classes. I used to watch it on the TV, so I thought give it a go, see what it's all about, and I haven't stopped. I haven't stopped training, and I haven't looked back in the last 10 years.
Oh, it's great. So, what does your moniker mean anyway? It's kinda never heard such a moniker before.
What's that? What do you mean?
Nickname.
Oh, Diddy Kong.
Yeah.
Um, you know the old computer games, Diddy Kong,
Yes?
or Donkey Kong, sorry. Basically, in one of my amateur fights, I mounted my opponent, and I was like raining hammer fist down with both fists. So it was like I was beating my chest. So one of my friends just suggested it. This was years ago, and then I never really took a nickname, and then once I sort of got signed to Cage Warriors and it all started like kicking off, I thought, well, let's sort myself out a nickname, and that's the only one that's ever sort of been thrown about. And a little picture of Diddy Kong looks good. I feel it fits well with sort of my big takedowns that I used to hit, and sort of just stuck, and I like it. I think it's good.
So I say you're a striker, but how would you describe your fighting style? Because I mostly have seen you striking.
Yeah, well, against Mads Burnell, I wouldn't have said I was a striker. He boxed me up real good.
Yeah.
Um, no, just because my last sort of, I prefer to stand up and wrestle. To be fair, big takedowns, ground and pound. BJJ is not really my thing, but I'm comfortable down there. But my last four fights now, most of them have been 6 foot, and they've all been ground guys. So my key was to basically keep it standing, keep the pressure, and sort of implement the stand up. It's not because I am a stand up striker. I've never specialised in anything like one specific area. My background is nothing. I started MMA with no no prior experience in any sort of martial art. So good for me. I sort of just come in not knowing anything. But I prefer to stand up and wrestling. If if I can keep it standing, I will. If I have to take it down, I will. I'm happy all round, really.
So you're an MMA guy, basically.
Yeah, basically just an MMA guy. Yeah.
What was your most difficult bout from the amateur days? You know, the most difficult opponent from the amateur days.
Um, I'm not too sure, to be honest. So I sort of in my amateur career, I started at welterweight to start with. Um, Back then, it was amateur was basically it was just a grappling match down and starting on your feet, no striking, and then it was semi-pro rules, which is now the amateur rules. But I sort of I lost like fight six on the bounce, changed my weight class, and then won some. They were never really sort of difficult fights. They were more just learning curves for myself. There was never any particular fight that stands out where I was like getting beaten up, or I've only really recently started getting clocked and in my fights. To be fair, as a professional, before I was never really taking much damage at all. Um, so there wasn't really any real standout fights which were tough. They were all just sort of get in there. Back then, it was sort of a fight every couple of months, little shows, win or lose, back into the training the next couple of days, go again another couple of months. Not like it is now. The level of amateurs now is they're probably better than the professionals at the moment. So back when I was doing amateur, it wasn't really a big thing. It was sort of just get in there, have a scrap, go and learn a bit more, have another scrap. So there was never really any fights that stood out for me as an amateur that were tough.
Actually, the only bout from amateur days was that armbar against Sebastian. I think it's Sebastian
Yeah,
Slechka, how you call it. Or
yeah,
because you say you're not a BGG guy, you did it pretty much well for a no BGG guy.
yeah. That is my in 10 years and I think almost 40 bouts. I think I had just over 20 as an amateur. Not all shown on my record, and that Mads Burnell was my 20th professional fight. I think I've only ever hit one with 2 submissions, and against Sebastian, that was my first.
Yeah.
Again, to be fair, that was a tough fight. He was a very good striker. He was hitting me with crisp shots.
Yes.
He took me down. I took him down, and then he stood up in my guard, and he was raining down big shots, and he just left his arm there, and I just thought, oh, let's see if this works. And I sort of just belly down armbarred him, and that was when I won my first fight as a lightweight at semi-pro for the title as well, East Coast Fight Factory up in Norwich. I believe I was coming off of 5-fight losing streak at a welterweight, and then that's when I decided, right, I'm far too small and fat to be fighting at welterweight, so change it up to lightweight, and it paid off. First submission, and then from there, I think I went on to win my next maybe another 4 or 5 as a lightweight and then I lost my last professional semi-pro fight before I turned pro. But yeah, it was a tough fight. That was a good fight, actually. That was a good fight.
How did your first professional fight look like?
I won that with TKO.
Yeah.
I think it was probably the first head kick I've ever thrown.
Awesome.
Hit him sort of here on the head, and caused a massive cut on his head, and blood just sort of sprayed out. And he sort of, I didn't knock him out or anything. So I think it was probably the first head kick I've ever thrown. Hit him on the head, caused a massive cut. And he didn't knock him out, like I said. He sort of, I think he sort of felt the blood, because he sort of put his hand here, looked at his hand like this, and then sort of cowered over as I went to go back in to throw some more shots. But Jack Mason was the referee back then, who is now my head coach. So the fight got stopped there, and I won my first professional fight with a TKO.
Oh, it was a great start, but then you have some losses, and it was probably the most difficult part of your career, right?
Yeah, I won my first two professionals with both with TKOs.
Yes.
My third professional fight, I came up against a good wrestler and a good striker. Went decision, and then that's when my original team sort of parted ways, and I sort of had some time off for about 6 months, and then that's when I joined BKK. I trained with BKK for maybe another 3 or 4 months, and then had my comeback fight against Corin Eaton, which I lost. That's my only ever. Oh, my little daughter's here.
It's cute.
Yeah, she is cute.
Yeah, it's cute. It's cute.
Yeah, she's just over. Oh, Paul Connect. You still there?
Yeah.
Oh, Paul Connection come up. That's the only time I've ever been finished in 20 professional fights, and 20 professional fights. I got caught with I was winning the fight, I believe. Went for a sloppy takedown, got caught in a anaconda, and he finished me in the second round, I believe. And then I think I lost him. And then I had a fight on Cage Warriors in Jordan. Again, I lost. Didn't go well. and then I sort of come back. I think it was a 6-fight win streak, and then I lost to Steve Martin, and then I think and then I had some knee surgery, and then come back, and then another sort of little win streak, lost one, and then another little win streak, and now I've just lost again. So I only ever sort of lose one. I sort of have a win streak, a loss, and then I reassess, do a bit more learning, come back, have another win streak, and then lose again probably. But this is that loss. I have some time off to reassess the situation, improve, and come back. Now I just need to get another win streak going and fight for that title again.
I was about to ask you for your stoppage against Reese Parker. That position. Reese Parker. Do you know when you were on the side and then you transitioned to back mount and punched him with 2 hooks? Do you remember?
Yes.
Yeah. What was this position on the side? It was a very, very weird position. I haven't seen it much. I mean, people usually go. You know what I'm asking.
Yeah. So he was a late replacement. Basically, I was meant to fight Chase Morton.
Yes.
And I believe at the day of the weigh-ins, Chase pulled out of the fight, and then Reese stepped up. And then as soon as we come out, he sort of rushed at me, threw some shots. So I landed one of my big takedowns. I had him in side control. And then I managed to get his arm.
Yes, that's what I'm asking, yes.
Yeah, I managed to sort of put his arm across his neck like this, and then I was holding it from behind. So, and then I had done knee on belly position. Landed a few shots, and then he rolled over. And then as he rolled over, that's when I hit a couple of big elbows to the side of his head, and it got called off straight away. But yeah, it was just basically knee on belly, and I sort of just tied his arm up around behind his head.
Yeah, it was awesome position. So for now, the most difficult rival you've ever faced, should it be Mats Burnell or someone else?
Yeah.
Mats Burnell.
Sure.
Why?
Well, to be fair, now you've said it. It's not the fact it was a grueling, tough fight. Like I'd done everything in my power to stop what I thought his game plan was going to be, as in the takedowns, trying the submissions. I think he only hit me with a couple of takedowns, maybe towards the end of the fight, maybe one in the second, I believe, but I think I got straight back up or
in the
something
second
like
round,
that.
you had that strong right uppercut, if I remember well.
Yeah, but I felt I defended his takedowns well. I defended on the ground well, but for some reason my striking was absolutely terrible. I felt really laboured. It wasn't the fact I was tired or anything. I couldn't get into a rhythm. There was no bloody head movement whatsoever. Hence why my face looks good now, but last week it looked terrible. Just couldn't get into a rhythm, and he showed his class. To be fair, I didn't think his striking was going to be as good as it was, and being the level of fighter that he is, he showed me that it is. He can mix it in any position that he wants, and he proved that I was basically. I felt like a fish out of water. To be fair, I was getting clocked, and for the fact that I couldn't get into my game plan, and I had no other choice really. I didn't really have a plan B, because I would take someone down, work my ground and pound, but I knew as soon as I take Mats Burnell down, I'm playing into his game plan really. Is what he wants. He wants people on the ground. My level of BJJ is nowhere near his level, so even if I got him down, I'd be, do you know what I mean? I'll be like a fish out of water. So yeah, it was a tough fight. I can't I can't say that was my toughest fight, but I could say that is my toughest opponent, like in skill level. But for being a tough, grueling fight, having to really dig deep, I wouldn't say that was it. And I can't think off the top of my head which one it would be, but it's just world class level of fighter, and I know the level I need to be at now to progress.
Your knockout against Liam Bennett was probably the best knockout of your career, according to what I saw. So, how did you land this right punch?
Well, we knew he comes out swinging big hooks,
Yes?
and all throughout my career, all my striking has pretty much been straight down the pipe, 1-2s, nice and quick. Obviously, straight shots are quicker than hooks, and we come out, touch gloves. He hit me with a left hook straight away, and as soon as we stepped back, as soon as I saw him to clock that wind up for that hook again, just threw that 1-2 straight down the middle, and it was beautiful. Best, probably one of the nicest 1-2s I've ever thrown, and got the job done in 14 seconds, I believe. Yeah, it was nice. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too, watching about 1-2. About 1-2. Are you doing this, so often because you're taller than the most fighters in the division, or that is just a game plan? You do it pretty much often and you do it pretty much well, I got to say.
What, the 1-2s?
Yeah.
Yeah, not really. I've never really been a combination puncher. It's normally just 1-2s, not through choice, just, don't know, maybe lack of skill level in the striking, and just forgetting to throw more than 2 shots. It's getting better. My last few fights, my striking's been a lot better than what it was in the last fight, but I've always just been throwing a 1-2, and because Liam Bennett was a lot smaller than me, it was sort of just nice. It's just, I don't know, it's sort of muscle memory now. As soon as I come out, I'm just pumping out the jab, 1-2s, and I've got a lot of power in my right hand. I just haven't really had the chance to show it in the majority of my fights, but it's getting there. I'll get some more knockouts soon, that's for sure.
It's awesome. Now let's get back to your decision victories. Alright, you said Mats Burnell was the most difficult opponent, but let's now get back to your decision victories. What is the best opponent you defeated via decision?
There's a few. Josh Abraham was a tough fight. Again, he liked the ground, but so I tried to keep it standing. He pushed the pressure on me, so I had to do a lot of movement. I had to mix up the striking, mix the takedowns. Aiden Stephen, again, that was a tough decision victory. And another one I've had, Scott Hunt. A few years ago, that was a good decision victory. All my decision victories have been good fights and tough fights, because if they weren't tough, I might have finished the fight. But I can't pinpoint one of them as it being the hardest. But the last couple, Josh and Aiden, have been good decision victories that I've had to earn.
Alright, so what's the next? What are you planning to do now? Who's the next in line? What are potential fights, potential opponents? Some ideas?
Well, this is the thing. Before me and Mads fought, obviously Morgan Charrier knocked out Dean Truman.
Yes?
So Morgan technically is next in line for the title.
Yes, I know that. I know Dean was and Morgan knocked him out. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so Morgan's definitely getting the next title shot. That's for sure.
Yes.
But the thing is, Mads Burnell is, I would have thought, likely to be re-signed by the UFC now.
Yeah, I think so.
So
The
then,
same.
yeah. So now there's going to be a vacant title. Obviously, Morgan deserves to fight for that title, and it's down to Ian, Dean, and Graham who they decide should fight for it. Obviously, I've only lost one. I've just lost my last fight against the champion. I'm the only one to take him the distance. He didn't get anywhere near putting up submission, so obviously I'd like to fight for the title again, but they might bring in someone else to fight Morgan for the title, and then they might put me against Dean Truman to then see who fights for the next, who gets the next shot.
Well, to be honest, I watched Dean Truman a few times, and I think he's really, really dangerous opponent. To be honest, very, very dangerous.
Yeah, he is very dangerous, but Morgan just walked him down, played it safe on the ground, and knocked him out. Dean Truman just kept trying to. Sorry, the light's a bit bright. Dean Truman, there's no doubt about it, he's a tough opponent in all areas. His striking's good, his BJJ's good, but he's had two bad losses now, really. Not a bad loss against Mads, but bad loss against Morgan. And I haven't really had a bad loss yet. So, who knows? But obviously I'd like to fight for the title. And this time I'll bloody make weight, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, I can bet on that. Would you like to add something else?
No, I don't think so. I think if you're happy with all the questions you've asked.
Oh, of course I'm happy. This is more than I've asked. So if you have
Good.
something to add, of course, I'm always in the great mood.
Nah, I don't think I've got anything to add. Just, you learn by your losses and just back to the drawing board and ready to go again. You see, I'm only just been a week. I'm healed up. I'm healing up.
Yeah.
No real damage. It was just sort of bruises. I'm just going a bit green now, where the bruising's subsiding. But other than that, no injuries. Everything's intact. Pride's still there. Do you know what I mean? I'm happy. I'm ready to go again. So just enjoy Christmas and start again in January. Ready for hopefully March. I think I might be fighting next. Back on the London card, I believe March the 22nd. That's ideally when I'd like to fight for Cage Warriors. Obviously, they've only got one other show before that, and that's the 7th of March in Manchester. So I assume they'll probably save me for London, which is the 22nd. So, yeah, so there might be some fighting news coming, sort of, I would have thought, after Christmas, start of January. Once they've sorted something out, I need to sort out a new contract. My contract's finished now. Mads Burnell was my 5th fight on my contract, which I've seen all of those through now. So, I need to sort out another contract with Graham and Ian, and then hopefully get signed up for another fight deal, win some fights, and then who knows, on to bigger and better things maybe.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. All right. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and I hope you'll fight again for the title.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Goodbye.
I'll make weight this time.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.